Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, SPS Commerce, and Sezzle. Ulta plans to put fragrances behind locked cabinet doors in as many as 70% of its stores. According to Retail Dive on its earnings call last week, Ulta executives called out theft as a quote, increasingly concerning challenge. End quote, with CEO Dave Kimball also telling analysts that incidents have become more dangerous as well. The retailer is said to be investing in a range of efforts to combat this issue, including increasing staffing, hiring security, and using in-store fixtures to prevent theft. But in regards to fragrances, Chris, one of the biggest targets for organized crime, Chief Operating Officer Keisha Steelman, said that it will go behind locked cabinets at 70% of stores by year end.
Big.
Chris, this is also the A&M put you on the spot question. A&M wants to know, they say fragrance is a rapidly growing category right now, especially post-COVID, as consumers are starting to reinvest in small luxuries. While locking fragrances away is a great way to prevent theft on a high-shrink category, how might this affect Ulta sales, since this inherently adds considerable friction to the customer shopping experience?
I could smell this one a mile away, Ann.
Oh, God. I thought you learned your lesson last week. Last week was out of control. I mean, I listened back to that podcast and I was like, it was even worse than I thought. And
I got so many great comments on the do our own stunts joke. It was great because podcasting is hard. It's very dangerous. All right, to answer that question directly,
which is why you need your padded studio,
which I could smell a mile away. Yeah, it's 100% going to impact sales.
Yeah,
because no one wants to shop, something behind a cabinet. It takes somebody to unlock the cabinet, which as a former store employee, I hated doing.
Yeah.
Like, I would hate being in the middle of something and somebody be like, hello, it was always some kid, can you come unlock the video games for me? And I'd be like, yes, sure. And then I'd take it out and then he wouldn't want it. I'd put it back and, whatever. But, it's not good for business. Mm-hmm. And so, my take is here, there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing our friends at Ulta, particularly like Prama Bhatt, the chief digital officer who we interviewed at Shop Talk, and she takes user experience very seriously. So my hunch is that she and the entire team are all over trying to figure out new ways to come up with better answers to this problem. But, to me, at a 30,000 foot level, the problem is getting so prevalent that I think two things have got to start happening. One, you've got to start cracking down on the resale sites and developing new regulations for resellers in terms of how they can conduct business. And I think there's lots of ground to still mine in that topic particularly. Lots of creative things that could be done. And second, and this is an interesting point to me too, Ann, if companies like Target are saying that this is a $500 million incremental problem per year, at what point does that profit loss start to make the case for computer vision investments and or just walk out like gated experiences into stores that can only be accessed via mobile phone or maybe even a biometric scan to prevent this from happening? Because, and I think about that too, especially in these areas where retailers are just up and leaving. Like, I would think customers who like retailers would want them to stay and would gladly adopt those new experiences to be still able to shop those stores in their communities. So, the best thing about it though, I think net is it still means there's going to be a flood of investment in AP related technology, which is a hot space that honestly has never been hotter. This is the hottest that space is ever going to be. And it's never been a sexy space before. So I'm excited to start talking about that and hearing from companies about what they're doing to reimagine retail experiences to that end where we don't have to put things behind cabinets.
Yeah. Chris, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they have to invest in technology to solve this problem, because I don't think that you're going to see the regulatory changes, any other changes coming from this, and the customer experience is severely lacking when it comes to this. You mentioned Target too. I mean, I've been talking about this with you and with others, for the other listeners, for the last couple of weeks. Like, $1 billion they're projected to lose this year. $1 billion.
That's a B.
Yes. And nothing is being done to change this. Like nothing that we can visually see outside of the go-to solution here that Ulta's using to just lock everything away. Like this does not solve any of your labor shortage issues. If you have to go, if an Ulta employee needs to leave a register or do any of the things to now be stuck talking to a customer to unlock something for the chance that they might want to purchase a $70 bottle of perfume when you're losing all of the people that are waiting in line who can't do that anymore. Like this cannot happen. It is a terrible customer experience. We have to be looking into other technology. You mentioned computer vision. That's great. Like gated entry and exit, another great idea. But it's also online things, like looking into bad actors and fraudsters for the online orders.
Yeah,
like 100%. Investing in technology to confirm that like a package has been delivered when it says that it's been delivered, and your visibility to where those packages are throughout the delivery, the last mile delivery process. Like there are so many places that are not being invested in right now to try to recoup some of that cost. I think that, right now, quick little anecdote. I was sitting in the backyard at a Memorial Day barbecue at some friends. While we were sitting there at 2:30 in the afternoon, two people came into the front yard where our kids were playing and stole and ravaged through our cars.
Wow.
At 2:30 in the afternoon, because the penalty in Minnesota for stealing under $1,000 is $3,000 in a fine. No jail time, no nothing. So I think this is gonna just keep happening. So retailers and brands, it is up to you to start doing something about this.
Yeah, and probably us as citizens too to take up the charge too, potentially, here as well, depending on the laws and regulations in city by city as well.